Okay, after trying all kinds of things, including a different cable and a different solar panel, I finally returned my Goal Zero Yeti 1500X to REI, and I searched online for alternatives to the Goal Zero, but because of all the things I've built in that use this and this and this, Dometic fridge, which runs off a 12-volt socket thing here, ceiling fan, which runs off this, and my LED lights, which run off this. I decided to go back to Goal Zero. I ordered this unit directly from Goal Zero, and we are going to see if charging it from solar will work or if it's still bad. Prior to this, my unit would charge and it would go like 17.0 and it wouldn't charge at all. But this is looking promising because it's just sticking at 17 watts, which is very poor, but it is pretty early in the morning on a mid-December day, so the sun isn't very high in the sky. Okay, so we have 17 watts pretty much consistently coming in from the sun, and now I'm going to try to plug this into an outlet, which should give me about 120 plus 17 would be 137 watts. Let's see what happens here. You plug this into here. 0. What the heck's up with that?
You don't have anything plugged in?
It shouldn't. 17. Well, that's really weird. I had 17 pretty consistently and now it went to nothing. After I plugged this in with no electricity. So now this is actually plugged into the cord right there, and I'm going to plug this in, see if I get 120. I'm getting nothing, so I'm going to unplug this. And now I'm getting charging up to probably 119, 120. So theoretically, I should be able to plug the solar panel in and get charging of more. Like probably 17 watts more, and it goes to 0. That's so weird. So now I'm going to unplug this, unplug this, unplug the solar back in. 8 watts, 0. It's better not start doing that again. That's bizarre. I had 17 watts constant. I plugged this in without it being plugged in, and this went to 0, and now it's not recovering from being at 0. Yeah, we are in full sun and nothing is charging. And it all started when I plugged this in. Actually, can I plug this in here? I wonder if I should have plugged that in there. And then now I'm at 119. Plug this in and we go to 0. What the heck? This is not the way my 1250 or my 1000 worked.
For customer service, press 2. For all other departments, press.
Thank you for calling Goal Zero. This is Christine. How can I help you?
I have a Goal Zero Yeti 1500X, which I just got. And I used to have a Goal Zero Yeti 1250, and I have a solar panel with one of those Anderson power pole connectors. It would charge my 1250 just fine. I plugged it into the 1500X. Oh, this is strange. So what I did was I wanted to see if I could plug the power brick in to a wall outlet at the same time it was charging from solar and have it do both. And I plugged it into
you can use both at the same time.
Yeah, I know. Well, I could on my 1250.
I'm sorry, you're breaking up a little bit.
Oh. So anyway, I plugged the brick into the input underneath the cover. without plugging the other end into electricity. And my power went to 0, even though I was plugged into the solar panel. Then I plugged it into electricity and it still stayed at 0. Then I unplugged the solar panel and it went up to 119 or something like that. And then I unplugged the brick from the Goal Zero. And then my solar didn't go back up to 17. It was stuck at 0. So then, what did I do? Oh, I tried the panel on the front. I plugged the brick into the panel on the front. And I unplugged the solar and I got 120. I plugged the solar in and it went to 0. After doing all this, even though the sun was out and the panel was plugged in, I was getting 0. Why is the panel not working now that I tried the brick? But then I went back in the house and I looked on the website to get your telephone number, and then I came back out and my panel was back to 20 watts, but it had to be at 0 for quite a while. I'm going to plug this brick back in. Where should I plug it in? Underneath the cover or in the front?
Yeah, either one of those shouldn't make a difference.
Okay, I'm going to plug it in underneath the cover, and I have 20, and it's not going up. But
You're not getting the 120 from the wall.
I don't seem to be getting the 120. I still am getting the solar. I'm going to try the one in the front here.
Okay.
And I don't seem to be getting any from the 120. I'm going to unplug the solar. No, I'll unplug both. I'm going to unplug both.
Yeah, so unplug both and then just plug in the wall charger and just use that.
Alright, so I'm going to plug the wall charger into the front. And it's going 80, 97, 117, 119. So that's working. I'm going to plug the solar into the front. So both are plugged into the front. And it didn't go to 0 this time. It stayed at 119. Nope, went down to 20. My 1250, I would get like the addition of the two. The wall plus...
Yeah, you should be able to. Let me just ask my team if they have any ideas why that's not working.
Okay. Both.
Okay, my supervisor said that because they're different voltages, it won't take both at the same time. I thought you could.
So it won't charge from both. If that's the case, that's weird that my 1250 did it though. So.
Well, there may have been a safety reason why they changed that.
Yeah, now it seems like the solar overrides the wall outlet.
You said you were getting 119 to the input. Of course, you're plugging your solar into the HPP, right?
I'm plugging the solar into an Anderson power pole.
Well, she is the authority, and she's saying that it won't take both because they're different voltages.
You know, when I first did this, my solar went to 0 even though the sun was out, but now the solar's back. I don't know why it was out for several minutes when it had been working just...
And, interference, things in the atmosphere or something like that. At this time of year, your charge is always... from a solar panel is going to be lower.
Oh, I know that.
We're almost at
the sun's very low in the sky, and yeah. So I don't, but it actually went to 0 instead. Right now I'm 24, 23, and it was actually at 0 for an extended period of time, like it wasn't working whatsoever. Although the light was on, the blue light, but I wasn't getting any charging whatsoever. So that was kind of weird.
If it's not putting out at least 14 volts, the Yeti can't accept anything less than that. So that may have been why it went to 0.
At least 14 volts.
Yeah, the only way to know for sure would be to test with a multimeter. And sometimes you get volts, but not amps. The volts will be strong enough, but not the amp.
Okay.
And that makes a difference.
All right. Okay, well, that's disappointing. Now I'm going to have to unplug it anytime I want to unplug the solar anytime I want to charge from the wall, which I didn't have to do with my other one. So you could go to a campground and just plug it in, and now I got to do two things, but I guess I can live with that. All right. Thank you very much. Okay, bye.
You're welcome. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye.
You too. Bye. All right, so... Oh, my God. Okay, so what have we learned? I guess I learned that my original Goal Zero 1500X solar charge controller was no good The old one wouldn't work with my original panel and original cable. It wouldn't work with a different panel. It wouldn't work with a different cable. This one works with my original panel, original cable. However, I did have a scare when I plugged the brick into the thing without it even being plugged into the wall, and my solar went to 0 and stayed at 0 for an extended period of time. So I'm a little skeptical about this still. I have found out prior that below 32 degrees, this wouldn't charge at all, not even from the wall. It wouldn't charge from solar if the unit was below 32 degrees. It would run things, but it wouldn't charge. So that's not great compared to the Yeti 1250, which ran fine under 32 degrees. It had lead acid battery. This has a lithium battery. The 1500X also won't charge from solar and the wall at the same time. My Goal Zero Yeti 1250 would. So there's some major disadvantages to this unit. However, you can't buy a 1250 anymore, and I sold mine, which I really wish I hadn't done. So those are the downsides of getting the 1500X lithium battery product. If any of you have a Goal Zero Yeti 1500X that will charge from the wall and solar, please let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching.